Hello, friends. We continue our work, and today we must talk about the final part of our classifications. Um, Final, I mean, it is classification by method of interaction, way of interaction between two main ontological sphere, materialistic and ideal. Okay, and for explanation, we will use the previous metaphor with iceberg. And I remember you that firstly, our classification it was with fullness, completeness, where I divide theory of dualism by these criteria, and first way I realized all sphere, and I catch and try to realize this principle of dualism to all sphere and another only part, the same idea. Okay, another way was when we try and classify all theories of dualism by ontological status of objects, and here we use metaphor of deepness, and of course today I will not repeat it again. You remember, and now we must to understand, not understand but explain what the version and types of interaction. And of course, today it will be criteria for classification by interaction, these basic spheres. Okay, and here we see three main positions where we can understand the real way of interaction between these spheres. Firstly, this interaction exists. Causal interaction. B, this interaction, it is only illusion between these spheres. And finally, it is epistemological, epiphenomenalism vision where only one sphere exists, another illusion. That's why no any interaction between these spheres. And the first interaction, it is a vision where interaction exists. Interactionism. The essence, very simply, mind and body have a causal effect on each other. It is the main idea. Why? Because it is our natural belief. It is our common sense and feelings show us this idea. It is our obvious intuition. It seems because we don't know how it really happened with us. And who explain this position? Who demonstrate? Firstly, of course, it is Descartes, and modern philosophy, Edward Jonathan Lowe. We will talk about this person in our seminar. I hope it will be interesting. I think that it will be interesting for us, and about this person and about his works. But today only names. Okay, in the basic scheme, imagine what I mean when I talk about interactionism. It is like cycle. The one position create another in another sphere. It is mental sphere, and of course this it is physical sphere. And we all see the causation between these spheres. From one side, and from another side, I mean mental, create position in physical sphere too. And here you see this cycle. Why? More currently, we mean the theory of Descartes, and he thought that this space, it is space of interaction, mental and physical spheres. You see that it is one part of our brain, cerebellum, where it's happened. It is very interesting historically and philosophically how it described, how it was described by Descartes, but today only the this illustration. Okay, but the same idea from ontological perspective. You see two these moments, spheres. It is ontological sphere. By what I have the fullness picture of understanding what mean when one physical sphere have create effect in mental or consciousness, and another the same. And phenomenological sphere, it is here. You see that the brain as a point of interaction, and concretely what we said about our cerebellum. Okay, and the problems. The main problems, of course we can add new problems, because different problems, it is like box in the box, and of course we can express it by another problems, because it is like embodiment in concrete version of the main problem. But today only, how I have said, only the names of problem and common descriptions. And we will concretely talk about this in our lecture about problem and vulnerabilities, lacks of dualism, lacks of common ground. Of course, it is mean that when we see very different spheres, we can ask if we have interaction between these spheres, but by what it realized, because must exist something middle, but what is it? It is the question, and it is difficult question for dualism, of course. These two moments I have present like synonymous. Of course, exists a difference between, and we will talk about this concretely in future. Today, it is the basic position. I think that it is only a realization. Physical isolation of the world, physical world. Of course, if we will try to talk about world by scientific notions, not by religion or something more. And this perspective, show up that all causes, all facts in our world was created by the physical causes. It is like axiom. It is the first law of understanding in scientific vision of the reality. This person who talk about this at modern philosophers and very interesting scientists, Eccles, and we will talk in future very interesting discuss interesting topic about Eccles. And here works you can see on the video with more information. That's why in this position, of course, we can't use something more than physical. what can be, how we can about dualism when we talk about physical reality, like something hell. Okay, and it is too difficult question for dualism. Okay, and final, of course, it is contradicts to the scientific pictures of the world. Why? Because our modern vision, our scientific vision of reality, it is illustrating basic positions, principles, and versions of reality. Firstly, it is idea of evolutions, idea that our process in this reality realized by evolution. And if you have a dualistic position, we can't explain this. How something what not exist in the physical reality can be explained by evolutionary approach and vision. Of course, firstly in biology, of course, and other science too. And of course, when we talk about science, we know, and it is experience, not only specific scientific experiments. It is usual experience in our life when if we have some problem with our brain, we have problem the same moment in our psychosphere. I mean that we have a mental problem. This thesis we must describe more correctly, and we will talk about this. But firstly, it is axiom 2. We know that correlation between our brain and our statements of mind exist. It is without any doubt. Okay, and we have told about interactionism, and now we will talk about another position when we can't say that between mental and physical exists causation. Now, and it is position of German thinker Leibniz, philosopher and mathematics, who firstly say, now, it is only illusion when we talk that exists this interaction between two this sphere. It is like we can remember about film and what we hear, right? Audio track. And when we see happen before us like image, we see it. In the same moment, we hear something, but it is not mean that exists interaction between two sphere. Now, two lines exist parallelly without any interaction between them. It is idea that mental and physical exist like synchronical processes. It is theory of pre-established in these marks we can say by Gerd, have how it was said by Leibniz, harmony, pre-established harmony. Why? The ground. Firstly, of course, it is idea that this position solve previous problem what exists in position of interactionism. Problem of interaction between two different so contradictory spheres, substance two. And it is illustration you see exist three or only two processes, and between exist synchrony, and only one process, one cause I'm sorry, create another effect without any effects in another sphere. I mean, physical. Yes, this correlation, something what not exist. And this sphere too, one cause create another without any causes from mental sphere. The same idea with using ontological sphere. I repeat it again. We try explain what we see in our phenomenological sphere. Correlation between these events, different events, in mental and physical spheres. It is only synchronization. It's something what we can name like synchronization. What was caused, created by synchronization. The same idea what we show in previous picture. Of course, exists and a problem too. What I mean? I mean that we don't know how the initial synchronization of two different worlds established. How and who, the same question, who in the case simultaneously presses the buttons mental and physical start. Of course, according to the Leibniz, we can say that it is God, but it is problem for what? That's from my side, of course. But of course, we can show more details, but it is the main position and main problems of parallelism. When we talk about next position and theory, it is Occasionalism. It's like kind of parallelism. It's realization. I will not write this position why Cassanalism, because for each occasions, for each event, we must, according to this theory, we can't see the realization of God's will. It is our correlation between physical and mental. It is something what realized by act of wills, God's wills. It means that it is, of course, very theological perspective and version of explanation this correlation between mental and physical spheres. Ground, you see the same theory. Authors of these Nicholas Malebranche, and problems, so it is formula of course, but I think it is the essence of this our version of parallelism. Ignorantum per ignotum. It means that we try explain something what we don't know, what we only can imagine in our mind. We don't know really. By another imagination, I mean that we try explain something what we don't know by another something what we too don't know. And the same idea of the God here was in parallelistic version pre-established harmony, but we of course can write here the God, the same function, the same goal in essence of the God here. Act of volition of will, the God. Okay, and final theory, it is Epiphenomenalism. It means that the idea, the great, maybe I can't sell because it is a very interesting vision for dualistic position, because usually when we talk about dualistic position, we I mean, something what really have some correlation with theological or religion or theological vision of this correlation between mental and physical spheres. But here, this position try held the dualistic vision, but I can say that without dualism in reality, because Epiphenomenalism mean what? Mental, it is only shadows of the things. In our case, it means shadows of the activity of body and brain. That's all. It is only like illusion. Yes, it is something what exists for us, but a real existence of these shadows, it is our body and brain. Of course, this approach, it is not really a dualistic approach and vision. It is de facto, it is the monistic approach. And of course, it is not in the same moments. And what I mean, different moments, what essentially for Epiphenomenalism held by the authors. And it means that these authors, of course, not monistic, held not monistic position. But what I mean, firstly, of course, the ground, eliminate the problem of interaction about what we have said, based on scientific, objective, verifiable data. Of course, it was, I have said already. And we're into authors. It is Thomas Henry Huxley, Ray Jackendorf, and very famous today, Chalmers, David Chalmers. It is founder of actualistic formulation problem of consciousness. But for Chalmers, this epistemological aspect of his own theory, it is like problem. That's why Chalmers tried, and today he developed his own position, and way and point when this epistemological aspect was solved. But today I can't say that this problem was solved for Chalmers. Nevertheless, of course, all these, and firstly, of course, the Thomas Henry and Ray Jackendorf, of course, it is scientists who try to understand consciousness by scientific method. That's why when these authors talk about the dualism, we must remember that de facto it is monistic position. Consciousness really exists. Maybe it is not problem for me. If I will talk from position these authors, but it means that it is only sphere what can't make any causes by what I can change in physical sphere or something. It is really not something what exists in essence. It is epiphenomenon. That's why epiphenomenological position. And here the same idea what I said before, but shortly we see that collision in this sphere, causation inside in this sphere, it is problematically, we don't know. And of course, without any causation in mental sphere, no invasion in mental sphere, mental and physical. Of course, we can't say this. Only process in physical sphere create all mental sphere. And it is something what we can say, we can name like isolate sphere of isolation. For only physical causations. First state, create second state, without any consciousness, or with consciousness like epiphenomenon, the same. The same idea with the ontological perspective, and you see that the brain, real subject of consciousness. It means that reality only in the brain, no more, no anywhere. Idea ontological sphere, it is something not exist, of course. Consciousness, it is something what can't make any causes, but it is exist like shadows, what we have said. And the problems of this approach, only very shortly, because we will talk about way more concretely with different details and explanations. I remember that it is problems and vulnerabilities, with a future lecture for us. Deeply counterintuitive. If very intuitive position, it is interactionism, where we feel it, we think and we act. I want and I do, etc. But here it is not so. It is problem. How it happen if I have no responsible intuition with correlation with these ideas. Second moment, second problem, it is mental states don't any work. There is no reason why they should have evolved. Of course, it is two problem. Why? I have my cognitive abilities, and of course, in biology and history of what we will only talk when we talk about psychology and the same very close disciplines, we always will see that our cognitive abilities like have a process of evolution. We see evolution in these abilities, more correctly, I must say so. Of course, discussion continues, and today we can't say that it is solved problem finally, but I can say that it is not so actually. And today, not so often we can meet the representatives of these positions. Final, it is extra explanatory redundancy. It means that I try to explain the behavior or ego in other. I will use my own condition, my own states, my own understanding, reflection. But when I realized according to the this theory, it is not something what real. It is not something what can explain the reality and can't explain the another man, the another behavior. Why? Because all this, it is only process of my brain. Process, it is only facts of process of my brain and my bodies. That's why this way of explanation, another eager of behavior, it is something what we can name redundancy. That's all. It is final and final classification, and I hope and that we continue our work in next lecture without any break from my side. Thank you very much. That's all.